Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for Reddit cheating stories like these. Without further ado, let's get started. My boyfriend, 35 male, drugged me, 26 female, with Benadryl because we got into an argument before our road trip and he wanted me to sleep the whole time. We made the decision on Monday to return to our home state and quarantine for a few months instead of making the 8-ish hour drive back to our current location. He and I had a major dispute shortly before we left because I wanted to stay at my mother's house for an extended period of time and he didn't want me to, among other reasons that I won't get into here. To avoid stopping somewhere for dinner before heading out, we opted to eat it before leaving the house. Fast forward to the beginning of our journey, and I fell asleep not long after we started out on the road. I have no recollection of falling asleep at all. I awakened for a short while, drank some Gatorade that he had provided, and then fell back asleep. This struck me as odd, given that I wasn't tired in the least and that we didn't depart till a reasonable hour. Throughout the ride, I kept commenting on how bizarre it was since I was exhausted and slept for much the whole duration. It was only yesterday that the tension began to ease. He joked with me, saying, "Man, I wish I could get you to use more drugs while you're acting up and arguing with me." I'm curious as to what he's talking about. He then tells me that he put Benadryl in my drink, which is why I fell asleep, so that he wouldn't have to deal with me. I believe him. He expressed this as if it were not a major problem in the first place. I'm still taken aback and completely taken aback by the conversation. Putting drugs in drinks is a terrible idea, and I'm not sure whether or not this is an overreaction on my part, but something tells me I'm not. I'm completely lost on what to do. Update: you guys, this is bad. This caught me by surprise since I hadn't gone on Reddit since I posted my initial post. To post to the 48-hour limit, I had to make an other account with a similar name. But I know a lot of people were worried about my well-being, so I wanted to go ahead and give an update. Sorry if that's against the rules. Thank you so much. I can't believe the amount of support and feedback I've had. I ended up calling my brother and telling him what had happened and asking him for advice on how to handle the situation, and he was at my house before I had finished telling him everything. More than anything, the fact that he was terrified gave me confidence that I wasn't overreacting to the situation. I didn't tell my partner I was leaving until my brother had parked his car on the street, and I just had a few essentials with me when I left. Consequently, I'm in the midst of a complicated breakup scenario in which he has already attempted to drop by my mother's house despite the fact that I told him I didn't want to see him and that I would retrieve my belongings eventually, both from his parents' house, where he is currently staying, and from his permanent residence. Things are going to be a little odd to figure out, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm well and appreciate your concern. I am sorry that I am unable to answer to everyone who has contacted or messaged me, but I hope you will read this and understand how much I appreciate your efforts. Story 2. My 35 male, wife of 5 years, 29 female, cheated. In a store, my 5-year-old wife deceived by sleeping with a complete stranger who she met there. They exchanged phone numbers, spoke, drank drinks, and she invited him to her hotel room for thereafter. She told me everything and insisted that the story, no matter how odd it may seem, is true to her word. Despite the fact that our marriage had been tumultuous, she decided to take a break and rent a hotel room in the first place. She went out for a night on the town and happened to run into the stranger there. We are still in love with and care for one another, and it would be beneficial for us to stay in contact. Is this something you should do? Secondly, despite the fact that she has only known this person for 3 weeks, she has kept in touch with the person with whom she had following their encounter, and she has developed a strong emotional attachment to and fondness for this individual. It was love at first sight, she says of the experience. She tells me she still cares about me. She has now moved out and is living on her own for the first time. As part of our agreement, I told her that she could not be in a relationship with or have any open communication with the person who had cheated on me while we were friends in any way. She is finding this a difficult request, not only because she does not want to end our relationship, but also because she has formed a close attachment with her male equivalent of mistress during her 3-week-old meetings. Is this a proper request for assistance? Edit. Thank you for your warm and harsh remarks. I appreciate them both. I really appreciate all of your suggestions. This tough period in my life will be helped by seeing a therapist. Therefore, I'll make an appointment with him. Although I was aware that this was a bad idea, I was shocked by her admission and further freaking audacious actions, which may have been compounded by the reality of the last 5 years of building, traveling, having a good time, and losing my once best friend in life and first true love, all of which were bringing everything to a close. I'm definitely allowing my emotions to take over in this situation. Even though the friendship would be detrimental to me in almost every manner, I can see how it would be beneficial to her in a multitude of ways. The term security blanket was used to characterize it. I also acknowledge that I have no influence over who she meets or whom she befriends at this time. Having realized she still sought a relationship with the man she had cheated on me with, I should have just discarded the possibility of us staying friends at that point. Update: we don't have any children, unfortunately. The story of the meeting in a store has been questioned many times, yet she keeps repeating it. She acknowledges that the behavior was risky and unhealthy, but claims that she was in a vulnerable position as a result of her marital unhappiness when she first met the guy and accepted his phone and offered to go out for drinks with him. She also attributes some of her actions to alcohol use. This woman came into my life at a time when I was in a difficult position personally. She has played an important role in shaping who I am now, since she has assisted me in a variety of ways throughout my life. As a result, it seemed to me that one of the reasons I still wanted to be there for her, after what had happened, was to demonstrate my appreciation. According to what others have said, it is also likely attributable to a lack of confidence in oneself. When someone goes through a difficult time like this, I'm aware that she is more likely to have suicide thoughts and to express herself in a depressing manner, which she has done throughout this process, especially when she worried she might be homeless or otherwise in a bad situation. However, I'm beginning to realize that she, like me, will need to seek counseling in order to rehabilitate herself. There's no way she can expect me to care about her in the same way that she cares about herself. If I want to continue, I have to put myself and my mental health first, particularly at this point in my life. There have been countless instances of marital discord throughout the course of time. Verbal abuse is common on both sides, and it frequently takes the form of threats. When we have disputes, we both say some very horrible things to one another. We tried to correct the situation, but it did not seem to be working well. This, he says, was the driving force behind her decision to do the actions she did. The break in question was not a legal separation. As a result of our most recent major fight, we were considering whether or not we should call it quits. She then said that she wanted some alone time, so she decided to go out of town for a few days. She even extended an invitation to me to accompany her on the first day and night, which I'd eagerly agreed to. The encounter with that stranger took place the next day. Even now, I'm still trying to make sense of what has happened. Some of it looks to be made up, and she appears to be telling the truth about it. Others seem to be engaging in really unreasonable behavior, which she attributes to things I've said in previous fights. It doesn't matter whether it was intentional or not. No matter how you look at it, whether it was done in a fit of passion or not, it is definitely impolite. If we were to call it quits for the day, let's take care of things first, and then we'll go to your meeting. As much as it still hurts and is difficult, I have now filed for divorce, have halted all contact with her, with the exception of discussions about how to split our assets, and will be seeing a therapist in the near future. Thank you for taking the time to read this and for your comments of encouragement and insight. It has assisted me in gaining some clarity on topics about which I had been in denial for quite some time.